Hello Nevada Virtual Academy, juniors, seniors, wherever you are. One more problem for the proficiency exam, SAT, ACT. Choose the inequality that is represented on this graph. Okay, and as you can see, my graph has a V kind of shape. That should ring a bell, should tell you absolute values, right? And the highlighted part is underneath that V graph. Okay, so I'm looking for a function that will be less than or equal in this case, because your line, right, your function graph is got it's a full line, it's not a dotted line, right? So you can see this V here is your graph, and here you have everything that's below that line, including the line, because it's not dotted line. Okay, and obviously at this point you can eliminate the second option, because you have x greater than or equal to 2, right? Which obviously is not the case in here. Well, absolute value of x greater than or equal to 2, we need to have x and y, because the way my graph looks like, so this is not good. Okay, next thing, looking at the first one and the second one, I have my y, all my all y values should be less than or equal to the absolute value of x minus 2. Okay, and to answer this one, you should remember that the absolute value of x will always be positive. Okay, and if you have to graph that function where you have, let's say, where you have y equals absolute value of x, well, that function, I'm going to use red for it, right? If your x equals 1, your y will also be 1. Okay, and hold on. If your x equals 2, your y will be 2. X equals 3, and what you notice, if x equals 0, your y will be 0. Basically, you'll have a line that will be parallel to the blue one, right? Now, this is the case when your x is positive. But when your x is negative, your y will also be positive, and for any negative x, y will be equal to the opposite of every x, right? If x is negative 1, y will be 1. X is negative 2, y will be negative 2. X is negative 3, y will be positive 3. And what you notice, I have graph, this red line, that will represent y equals absolute value of x. Okay? But my graph is not y equals absolute value of x, but y equals absolute value of x minus 2 for the first one, right? Well, to get that graph, you will need to shift your y equals absolute value of x. You have to shift that down, right? Translate that one down by 2 units. However, the graph that's given to me is going up from the y equals absolute value of x, which means the first answer here is not the right one, because as you guys notice, every one of the values of y equals absolute value of x goes up by how many units? It goes up by 2 units, right? So you basically have, the blue graph here represents y equals absolute value of x plus 2. Okay? That way, the inequality that I'm looking for should be in relation to y equals absolute value of x plus 2. And obviously for this case, because you have everything that's underneath that blue graph, which represents y equals absolute value of x plus 2 highlighted, I'm looking for all the values of y that would be less then y equals absolute value of x plus 2, and that's why the answer to this problem is the third one. The represented graph in this problem, the given graph, represents the inequality y is less than or equal to absolute value of x plus 2. And I hope it makes sense, and I hope you guys understood my explanation and you are ready to